Hello everybody, I've got an actual through hike today. This is a mini through hike, so it says it's 150 miles. It's probably going to be a little bit longer than that. This is the San Diego Trans-County Trail, which goes from the Salton Sea to the Pacific Ocean. I'm not sure the exact mileage because there is some logistic issues and some cross-country stuff. So I guess we'll just add it up at the end and see how much it is. So this used to be called the Sea to Sea Trail because it was going from the Salton Sea to the Pacific Ocean. Now it's the Trans-County Trail because the Salton Sea is not really a sea. It's literally a disaster zone. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So this trail starts right at the edge, or what used to be the edge, of the Salton Sea in the town of Salton City. Well, let me turn around and show you what that looks like. Here it is. This is Salton City. This is actually the swanky subdivision of Riviera Keys. There's a lot of Seaview and Riviera names for streets, and this is what it is. They look like they were actually at one time supposed to be swanky subdivisions. There was actually a kind of fancy sign leading into this, and there's properties laid out like it was going to be a subdivision, but this is about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the trail. All right, so starting at the end, the trail starts at the road end signs up here, and you can actually see the Salton Sea over there. There's this nice house here. It's got a water view. This actually used to be the shoreline of the Salton Sea. It's been shrinking. So the first part of this hike actually walks a little bit along the shore, and then starts heading in towards Anza Borrego State Park. Okay, a little bit more information on why they called this area a disaster zone. It's because it is. There didn't used to be a body of water here. There was a leak in irrigation, agricultural irrigation or water movement or something like that, and it was a big enough leak that it actually formed a whole body of water. So they tried to make a positive spin on this and be like, oh, it's a waterfront destination in the desert, how nice. But the problem was when the leak was fixed, there's no more fresh water running into this basin here. I'll flip around and show it again. So no water running into this. It's drying up. Again, I'm walking where Google Maps at least shows me there should be water, and there's not water. So it's drying up. There's no fresh water input. So the only thing it's getting is agricultural runoff with all the pesticides and everything. So it's increasingly just coming incredibly polluted. It's being concentrated, and they're constantly adding more pollutants to there. So it smells. It does smell here. Again, this is the water. It smells, and those pesticides again are not removed. So when it dries out, when things dry out like this and the wind kicks up, you start to breathe in those pesticides. So that home, it's a very nice home, water view, but it's a biohazard area here. So I'm headed towards the Arroyo Salado wash, and hoping to get away from the biohazard zone ASAP. And since I'm thinking about it, another fun fact about this biohazard zone is there's actually deposits of lithium in here, which are really important for batteries and such. However, you can't really harvest the lithium because you can't clean it from all the other pesticides and junk from the agricultural runoff. So you gotta let that lithium deposit sit there, unless you can figure out a way to do that. And I already have my no trespassing sign as I am trying to make my way across the dried up mud flats towards the Arroyo Salado. It's going to be interesting. I didn't see those last time I was here. Okay, I think I stopped seeing those no trespassing signs, cutting back up to the Arroyo Salado now. Looking at my track from the last time I attempted this, I did take a sharper cut up from the shoreline towards the Arroyo Salado. But one of the reasons I quit this trail last time is because The route is available through a Facebook group, so if you're not part of that group or you don't use Facebook, the route is a little bit difficult to piece together by yourself, especially regarding private property, and there's 2 Native American reservations to go through as well. One has a pass-through, one is a bushwhack around, and I did not have that information. It got me into trouble. But I have a friend, he also has a YouTube channel. It's First Church of the Masochist. He has done this trail before. He gave me his route, so hopefully we should be okay. So turning back, this is Salton City, and we got way over there the Salton quote-unquote Sea. This trail is kind of like going from the edges of civilization to more exclusive neighborhoods. So at the beginning of this trail, it's fairly easy to get around private property and find places to camp. Towards the end, not so much. Speaking of the edge of civilization, I just found a good old dumping spot right here. Arroyo Salado should be probably just over these dunes here. And finally, just dropped down into the Arroyo Salado. This should take me out of town without issue, and especially property issue, and should take me into Ocotillo Wells State Recreation Area. And I'm going to be following this wash for a long time, and eventually it will take me into Anza Borrego State Park. Nothing to see here, just a boat beach on a desert wash. Alright, almost out of town. This is Highway 86 that I'm passing under right now. Just a little over 4 miles in, and just keep following the Arroyo Salado up, and I should hit the boundary for Ocotillo Wells State Recreation Area. Alright, got some signs. Have officially entered the Ocotillo Wells State Recreation Area. It's part of California State Parks. Their recreation areas are the ones where you can take your off-road vehicles and do that sort of thing. There are some rules to it though still, but the state park system has these recreation areas where this sort of stuff is allowed, and then they got their park areas where it's a little bit nicer to the sensitive environment of the desert. So tries to please everybody. So should be in the recreation area for a while, and then maybe hopefully make it to the state park area. Hopefully by the end of the day, definitely tomorrow. Had a couple Jeeps come by. Nothing too crazy right now, like there would be on the weekend. It's been pretty chill walking down the Arroyo here. So a little bit of fun information. First of all, there's road signs through these arroyos, which is kind of funny. But if you go down this arroyo right here off of Arroyo Salado, if you're familiar with the book or movie Into the Wild, there is a place called Oh My God Hot Springs that's mentioned. Down here, about a half a mile, is the site of where it used to be. It was bulldozed. It's really funny because it's actually not that far off the main road, S22, and it was bulldozed because the Bureau of Land Management didn't want that to exist anymore at all, but since the popularity of the movie, they've actually put up a sign at the former location with pictures, actually a picture of Christopher McCandless, the person from Into the Wild, at those hot springs on that information board. So it's actually pretty easy to see the former spot. There's nothing of it left, and it's not that far off the road. But at that junction, if I wanted to do a side trip to see nothing but a sign, I could have done that. So this is the general area of the former Oh My God Hot Springs. Oh man, it's It's the beginning of March, so temperatures aren't even that bad out here right now, but I was actually kind of overheating walking through the wash like that. But the wash is in a area with some tall walls right now, tallish walls. So I was able to take a nice cat nap. You can see him next to a creosote tree. And I actually haven't been sleeping well in real life, so it's been nice and relaxing just to take a break out here in the shade. Still walking the wash, Arroyo Salado. At least now the sun is getting a little bit lower in the sky and behind some clouds, so it's not as hot anymore. If you can see in the background, there's a bunch of mountains back there. That's where I'm heading eventually. I need to go through the town of Borrego Springs to get there, but that's where I'm headed. I'm doing a wash and then kind of going through some badlands and then through town, but that will be tomorrow. The sun is setting and I am still hiking the Arroyo Salado. So what's going to happen is, let me flip around. So what's going to happen is I was looking at the distances, and if I stop now, I'm probably going to end up in the middle of the town of Borrego Springs tomorrow, where there's no free camping at least. So I'm going to continue hiking a little bit in the night, and I'm really close to the border for Anza Borrego State Park. We'll be crossing into that, and then tomorrow I'm going to be heading west through Anza Borrego, over one of the viewpoints for the Badlands, Inspiration Point, and then hopefully across the town of Borrego Springs.